Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here. Grateful recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day, my friends. Guys, what a beautiful day. First of all, please subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, and by all means, share it with anybody you might get something out of it. Guys, something to show you today. Like I said, going to LegalZoom. I know my business was registered last week because I was able to open my bank account and whatnot, but I did today receive all my state documents for my new business, P. Kelly Services LLC. So that was nice. I was able to print that out, and I can, keep them in file, or if I want, I could frame them and put them on the wall. I think maybe, as a matter of fact, when I get my certificate from Harvard, I'm going to have that professionally framed because, I'm proud as hell that I'm going to go do that. And, of course, I gotta finish the course before I, count my chickens exactly. But, guys, it's about marking the milestones, and I share these things with you because I'm telling you, when you do the work, when you do the steps, when you get sober, when you join your group, when you get active, and that's the whole thing, guys. I try to come up with different ways to explain to you guys why I'm doing all the things I'm doing. And here's the thing. When you think about joining an AA group, and I know it's tough in early sobriety, it's all people you don't know, but listen, and in particular, if you're in the Boston area, come down to the Harvard Eckworth Church on Mass Ave in Cambridge, right near Harvard University. The most welcoming group you will ever meet, guys. These people are great, and there's a meeting there at least 5 days a week at noon. I think there's a couple during the week at night as well. But the gratitude group is 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1 o'clock, and they're amazing. And here's the thing, guys. When you get yourself a recovery coach or a recovery advisor, whatever your insurance will allow you, the reason you do all these things, guys, is you never know what opportunities they will find that are tailor fit to you that you wouldn't find otherwise. The whole Harvard scholarship, guys. Early on, I was like, I don't really see what I need this Riverside Recovery Group for. But I'm like, you know what? I signed on for it. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, forgive me, guys. Excuse me, sneezing. But I'm like, you know what? I signed on for it as part of my IOP. I don't know a lot about it. I'm going to stick around there, and that's where I got my therapist, and that's huge. Having a therapist has been great for me. It's really helped me identify a lot of my former actions and a lot of my current actions, and it's allowing me to identify my strengths and then lean into them. And then having a recovery advisor is great. She's the one that found the Harvard scholarship and nominated me for it, and now I've got it. So that's the thing, guys. When you get out of your comfort zone, you do these things. You don't necessarily have to know how they're going to improve your life, but you go into them because it's good for you, and it keeps recovery at the forefront of your brain. And then when you get active in these things and you apply yourself and you try to be that outgoing, uplifting, best version of you that you can be, that's where these rewards come from, directions that you'll never see. And they're not straight rewards. You got to earn them. You know what I mean? I'm earning my certificate from Harvard. But there's no other way I would ever have an opportunity to go earn a certificate from Harvard University. I would never know about it. I would never think to apply for it, and I would never know there was a scholarship, and I certainly wouldn't want to have to pay for it to go and do it. So it's amazing to me, right? And so that's great, right? And then, it gave me the confidence, because you're talking about positive things all the time. It gave me the confidence to understand that I couldn't just quit my job and do nothing. So I started getting out of my comfort zone and doing side work, and that immediately blossomed into a beautiful new business, and now I'm renting a garage to expand my business. Life is expanding in all these different ways, guys, and it's because of the work that I'm doing, and I'm becoming a part of the community, and this is what I tell you guys. Now, we're going to talk today about every day. Another thing, guys, if you're not part, when you're not part of it, go online. There's all sorts of resources. Every day I read the Just for Today meditation from Narcotics Anonymous, because I like NA, but I couldn't find an NA group in the area when I was trying to. As a matter of fact, it's one of the reasons I started the channel, because I'm like, I got to do something online. I can't find a meeting. I literally went to 4 meetings the first weekend I was home and didn't find a single one. Even my old group that I was a part of is no longer there. So I don't know. I took that as a sign from God that He wanted me to start this channel, and I did, and I'm so happy that I have. But every day I do go online and I read the Just for Today NA meditation. Today the topic is Living Just for Today relieves us of the burden of the past and fear of the future. We learn to take whatever actions are necessary and leave the results in the hand of our higher power, whom I choose to call God. And then the affirmation for the day is, I look forward to the future with faith in my higher power. Again, God, for me. Call yours what you will. God, Goddess, universe, spirit. It's all good, guys. It's just good to have. It's good to understand there's something beyond you. You are not the Almighty Oz. I am not the Almighty Oz. Oz is not the Almighty Oz. Remember, it's a little dude in a closet, right? So there is clearly something at play here, and I've clearly become aligned with it, guys. My life is being blessed left and right. And again, I work my ass off, but I've always worked my ass off, and now I'm actually getting somewhere for the work that I'm doing. And that's the beauty of it, guys. This today's reading means so much to me. Living for today. I was never able to live for today, guys. I was always so wrapped up in tomorrow. What am I going to do later? What am I going to do when I'm done with this bag of dope? When am I going to get my next one? Well, it was miserable. Chasing the dragon, just being, just being an ass. Rushing my way through things, doing things half-ass, and that's the furthest thing from today, guys. I stop, and I digest everything before I respond, and I don't react anymore. I respond to things after I've digested them, and that's something I never ever did. And I know it sounds so incredibly simple, guys, but when you're not doing it, when you're reacting and not responding, it literally is the difference between success and failure. And when you're overwhelmed and you're in an anxious spiral, or you're under when your mind is filled with the chaos that is so often accompanying us in active addiction and alcoholism, you cannot digest and respond. Your brain, you only have so much focus power, as I like to call it. I don't know what the technical term is. Well, I'm not that intelligent. Maybe I'll learn at Harvard. Who knows, right? But no. You can only focus on so much, and when you're focused on things that don't matter or aren't pertinent to building the future of your life, you're going to overlook things, and you're going to miss opportunities. Today, I live in the moment. I stop and I take my time, and I don't let anybody take me off my balance. Like I said, I don't answer my phone before I get up and say my prayers. And I'm not saying you have to do that. That is just something that has made all the difference to me. Because to me, it's like people knew they could rely on me for anything. So I would wake up to phone calls, and I took on everybody else's emergencies like they were my own, because I thought I was banking all these favors, and I really wasn't. I mean, I was just really building other people's businesses and running other people's lives, and then neglecting my own. And I don't do that today. I put myself first. And again, I go out of my way to help as many people as I possibly can every single day of the week. And I get tremendous joy from that. It's literally how I found alignment in my life, from my soul's, what I call my soul's true mission, my soul's true path. It is to be of service to other people and uplift them and show them what's possible. And I'm trying to do so by leading the best life I can. And again, I've talked before, that literally challenges me to go out every day and be the best version of me and find good opportunities to make a difference in people's lives, so that I have more stories and more opportunities to make videos about them. And it is literally, it has become the most amazing recipe for success early on, for me anyway. And again, I'm not overwhelmingly successful, but I'm doing it better than I ever have. And it's funny, like, my friend Doug from Florida, I talk about him all the time. We were talking this morning. They got that big project over in Alaska Street in Dorchester. I keep calling it Alaska. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. There's a street in Roxbury, not even Dorchester, rather, that is called Alaska Street. And I actually was living at that property for years. I had gotten evicted from a place illegally because it was some other cokehead. I rented the apartment to some coked out guy that I knew because we bought up the same drug dealer. And come to find out, he was embezzling all the money that everybody was paying him rent. And he got me to move into this apartment. I was waiting months for him to finish the apartment so I could move in. And he wasn't getting it done, so I finally said, listen, dude, I need a place to stay. I'll move in and I'll finish the apartment. Well, I end up literally finishing. I'm talking installing the cabinets, installing all of the appliances. I had no running water when I moved in. I literally had to finish the bathroom and finish the kitchen. And I still ended up having to pay the rent because he disappeared and ended up getting thrown in jail for embezzling all the money. And the new management company came in, and I started telling them, listen, you guys owe me. I literally finished this apartment. I've got invoices here. I need to get paid. Well, because I was linked with him, because obviously, he was, it was a deal I made through him, and they assumed I was just some degenerate that he knew, and they evicted me, and they evicted me to the apartment next door. So I never got any court notices, any eviction notices. I was paying my rent. And all of a sudden, one day, my wife at the time called me and said, hey, there's a notice on the door here that says we got to be out in 3 hours. The sheriff's going to be here. And I'm like, no, that's physically impossible. We got to go through court and everything else. They want to evict us. And 3 hours later, the sheriff showed up in the moving van, started packing all of our shit. And I was so overwhelmed that I didn't look at the paper to see that the address was right because it's the sheriff handed me an eviction notice. And I'm like, how is this possible? I never get any notices. And he's like, well, you had to have. And then I was actually back there the next day picking up some of my other stuff, and I found all the stuff in a trash barrel, and it was all the stuff from the office next door. They evicted me, and you know, guys, and I could have sued them and made out really well, but I was too busy being a drug addict to follow through with anything, and that was one more thing I left on the table, where I let life kick my ass, and I did nothing about it, and I ended up moving into we had a vacant property. I was working for Doug at the time. We had a vacant property over on Alaska Street in Roxbury, and I've lived there for 2.5 years, which was great. Thank God I had Doug. I would have been homeless again, you know, and only I had a wife and 2 cats to worry about at the time, and I couldn't let that happen. But what a shit show, guys. And that's, you know, that's what happens when you're cutting corners, and these are the things that people go, oh, woe is me, but I had a big part of that. I got to take my accountability. That's just one more story I'll tell you about taking accountability today. I knew I was dealing with a degenerate cokehead who wasn't getting the apartment done right, and I knew he wasn't doing anything right. And yet I allowed myself, without a contract or anything else, to get in that position, not knowing he was going to get thrown in jail. But again, you know, I was coming at everything sideways and setting myself up for failure. If I didn't know Doug, I literally would have been homeless, or I would have been out in Vegas on my former wife's parents' couch with, you know, not knowing anybody, and yeah, I mean, oh God, it would have been an absolute nightmare. But again, situations, right? So that's the thing. You got to look at the accountability, because anybody else is going to tell you that story. They're going to just tell you how, you know, the part of it where, and again, I was illegally evicted from an apartment. There's no two ways about that. I could have very well sued them for that, and I really should have. I could have made a lot of money out of it. I think to this day it's still in my safe. I still have the proof they evicted me to the wrong apartment. Years later, it doesn't matter now. But anybody else is just going to sit there and make that a woe is me story. I'm going to tell you the straight up truth that no, I allowed it to happen, because I was too busy chasing drugs and trying to get through the day, and not paying attention to the world around me and the situations that I was in. And I, unfortunately, I allowed that to happen in my life, and thank God, I had a friend that got me through it. But anyway, so we have the big project. We've since torn down that house, and we built 7 condos over there, and we sold 5 of them. And, the home inspectors, literally, these are all brand new. And the home inspectors are just nitpicking all these stupid little punch list items, and some of them are legit, and some are just, ridiculous. But so I get a lot of work over there at the moment, so I'm driving through, what we call Methadone Mile, because you got to drive through there to get there. And I'm seeing the same people. I saw that same girl I've been talking about the last couple of days, the sparkle-faced, glitter-faced girl who I assume is a crackhead. And, and again, I stop and give her a couple of dollars every day, because you know what, at least she's considerate. She literally, oh my God, you care, thank you so much, and she's not offering sex for money, and she's not, you know what I mean, she just, she's a bad place, but I stop every day and talk to her. I said, listen, you seem like a really nice kid. What are you doing? And I'm hoping that after I talk my last friend into going to the hospital, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to talk this one into maybe coming off the street. I don't know her history. She might have been living on the streets, might be the shelter over there. I don't know. But you know what? I never give up. And that's the thing, consistency, guys. And I have faith that everything I do is going to work out, because I believe in my higher power, and I've developed a one-on-one conscious relationship with my higher power, and I just go through the motions every day and do what seems important to me. I don't worry about yesterday. I've let go of yesterday. I don't worry about yesterday at all, and I'm making plans for my future, but I'm not fearing my future. I'm not worrying about what am I gonna, what's gonna happen. No, I'm just living in the moment and making the best decisions I can every day, working hard, doing the, but again, working hard, but not being a workaholic. In my history of being a workaholic, that's very important to me. If I let myself get overwhelmed with work and I start taking on more responsibilities than I can handle, that will push me into wanting to use drugs to get through the work, and I can't let that happen today, guys. But that's the beauty, guys. I have a whole community around me. I've got the scholarship for Harvard. I got my recovery advisor. I got a recovery coach. I got my home group. I get, I got people that contact me. I get emails and calls from people in the AA. And I got my friends here online and the other couple platforms I've been posting on lately. And I got people that reach out to me every day. And I got, and I got my brothers and my sister all back in my life. We talk every day through text. So if I were to start isolating, you know what? I got so much more in place. And no, never mind that. But I also have the OBAC clinic at BMC where I'm taking the Sublocade. And as a matter of fact, I go tomorrow night to get my next monthly injection, and I think something went bad. They say you got to be careful with the injection sites with them. You can't play with it. And I bumped in a couple of times early on this time when I was working. Well, you can, it turns into a hard pellet, and you can feel it dissolve over the course of the month. And this one hasn't dissolved this whole month, and I'm noticing I'm a little more tired. I've been taking a couple naps in the afternoon lately, and I'm thinking I might have done something, because I've also got a bruise there, and I never have a bruise for the entire 30 days that it's there. I usually have a bruise for the first 2 or 3 days. And again, it usually shrinks down. So, but I'll see them tomorrow night, and at least I'll get the new injection, so I'll know I'll have the medication in me. But I haven't had a problem with it anyway, so I'm not worried about it, although I think I'll probably get in a little bit of trouble with Nurse Natasha tomorrow, because I'm supposed to call and report anything. As a matter of fact, she called me last Wednesday and asked me if there were any issues with the injection site. So they're always concerned. They always call and ask you about the injection site. And I just hadn't noticed it in time, and I noticed it the next day, and I'm like, I'll call, but you know what? Time goes on, and I'll be there tomorrow night, so we'll deal with it then. Not the end of the world. This is not making me sick. I think maybe I'm just not getting the benefits of the medicine, and I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it'll take longer for it to dissolve, or maybe I'll have to remove it. I don't know. But I will find out, and I'll report back. Guys, turn into a tangent. I haven't even really talked about this too much, but I kind of have. We touched on it. Living for today. You can't live for today if you haven't healed and let go of the past. Now, you can do it if you're healing. You can be doing the work. You don't have to, and that's the other thing, guys. Just like sobriety is a lifestyle, not a destination, healing is also a lifestyle, not a destination, guys. You can't expect that. And you know what? That's a point I'm going to start harping on, because I think that's making a big difference in why my life is going so well. I'm not identifying one issue and saying, okay, I'm going to solve this and everything's going to be great, because then you get there, and even if you do solve that one thing, you get to that plateau, and then you know, where do you go from there, right? No, I'm making all of this an ongoing progression. And that's what improving your life and expanding your life and just living your life should be. A constant, ongoing progression into new experiences and good experiences. And when you live with your higher power and you make positive, make yourself the best healed version of yourself that you can be, that's exactly what happens. And that's why I encourage all of you every day. That's why I come here every day and share this stuff with you guys. Guys, it's getting a little bit long. I didn't mean for this to be a long one. It kind of happens every day. I got to catch myself. But guys, remember, God loves you. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you taking your time out of your day to share it with me. I hope to God you're getting something out of these. Please leave me a comment. Please reach out. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. But, guys, just do the best you can. And if you fall, stand back up. That's all. Understand that oftentimes relapse is a part of this recovery process. I have no intention of making it for myself. It doesn't make me better than anybody else. It just means I'm in a good place right now. But if it happens, then I'm going to pick myself back up. And it did happen. I told you guys about that. The day that I got out of rehab, I found a rock of crack cocaine, and I put it in a pipe and smoked it before I even realized what I was doing, and I thought it broke my heart. But it turned out to be the best thing that could have happened, because it put me on my path to where I'm at now. You guys go back, watch a previous video about that if you, and I've mentioned that in very many videos. I think I might even have talked about it in the first video, so if you go back and watch the first one. Anyway, take a breath. Guys, if you happen to stumble, just pick yourself back up. And if you need encouragement, please, my email is listed if you want to talk privately. And otherwise, leave a comment. And there's so many good people in the community here. You'll get encouragement from many people, I guarantee. Guys, God loves you. I love you. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in the next one.